My name is Elizabeth Christ. I'm a senior photo editor at National Geographic. As soon as the story is approved, they assign a photo editor, and I would work together with the photographer from the very beginning to do a lot of the research to figure out exactly sort of what are the different points that the photographer has to cover, all the places that he or she has to go in order for us to construct a narrative that would make sense for one of our readers who knows nothing about the subject. Then we'll send the photographer out into the field for a couple of weeks, and he or she will continue to send in their hard drives so that I can actually be looking at the files while they're in the field and tell them, if they're doing something wrong or if they need to correct something, take a different direction. And then, they will come back from the field and we'll actually edit together.
I'm Ira Block. I've been working for the National Geographic for the last 30 years, and I believe I've had about 35 stories published in the magazine. Currently, I'm doing a story on Chinese afterlife. I just returned from 4 weeks in China, and we're editing the story right now.
One of the things that we're looking for is how do we reduce what might be 30,000 frames down to, let's say, 40 frames that we're going to show the editor. And so we're looking at each one to see how important is it for the story. Is it something that we have to be able to tell it? And we're looking for a combination in each frame so that you have not only a really striking visual, but you've also got some kind of information, and you're always looking for that intersection in every single frame. And one of the other things that I love to see when we're editing is looking for any kind of human emotion or any kind of surprise, something like that that can make it really memorable. So that's, sort of the heart of what we look for in every image. After we have what we call an interim or a halfway show, and the editors have had a chance to comment on it, then we'll go ahead and send the photographer back into the field for a few more weeks, and then he or she will come back in again. We sit down, repeat the process, we edit together, and then the photographer will again present the coverage, this time a final show, to all the editors, and then we'll go into layout, usually directly from there. And we'll have, again, a whole week with the photographer and with the design editor, and the three of us together will work as a team to try to put together a layout that best tells the story. And normally in layout, what will happen is that we're looking at the sequencing of the pictures, and we're looking to see which photographs need to open, which photographs need to be played large, which are the crucial ones that we can't do without. And we look at the sequencing, and it's very important sort of what the ender is as well. So we're looking at all of those together, but again, it's a team effort. After you close the layout, then you have a post-production process, which includes not only color correcting the images, but you also have to work with the researchers and the legend writers, the people who write the captions, and you're dealing with trying to check all the information and making sure that everything is accurate. I would say that the most important skills that you would need as a photo editor here at National Geographic, you have to have both the sort of visual sense, like a real love and a real passion for images, but you also have to have a real understanding and a real sort of drive to learn. You have to know everything about a story when you're starting. You have to really have a love of research as well. I would say for most photo editors here at National Geographic, they had a background as a photographer first. Most of my colleagues actually started out shooting for newspapers and then sort of segued into editing and then came into the magazine world. I am somewhat of an anomaly on the staff because I've never shot. I've never been a photographer. National Geographic is different from other magazines in a number of ways. First of all, I would say the involvement of the photographer is a key factor. We bring in the photographer from the field to sit with us in the office to work, when we're editing together, and also in layout. They're involved in research before we even start. I would say that that's one of the key factors, and that's actually one of the things I love best about my job too, is working so intimately with photographers. And some of the photographers we work with have actually been working with us for 20 years, 30 years, and so it really is like a family. I mean, it just becomes, a group that has known each other and worked together so intimately for decades.